welcome to our first SFL webinar for the year. And we are preparing ourselves to host at least one webinar a month. And today we have Vikram Mandeep Kumar from Deep Cognition and SFL joining us to talk about the types of automation that's out there and how it can have a direct impact on your day-to-day lives as well as in the logistics industry, and how we can streamline certain processes to accelerate our profits in our business. So logistics being one of the biggest economies of the world, and the main problem is there's too much of manual work required to get to the last mile delivery phase. When we look at the ABB report on that was published on 5th of October, they released an article on how 9 out of 10 logistics and transportation companies have indicated that their operations have been negatively impacted by the pandemic, and how COVID-19 has accelerated that switch to robotic automation. So again, when we look at the 40 years of business, we always notice that data is always the first tier, because that is where we have to gather everything to make that informed decision. We look at it in our normal day lives as well. In order to analyze a situation, you have to have some kind of insights in order to make an informed decision, whether that be a report, a physical inspection, or an item in question, photos, etc. All these findings are now documented, and it becomes data. And in the logistics environment, there is data that is being captured right from the first mile delivery stage that is used throughout the last mile delivery. And one of the examples I looked at as a client booking is created in a system in CargoWise, and then it's approved and converted to a shipment. And that means all the information regarding that shipment has to be imported for it to be saved because of the compulsory fields. And in between, your controller now gets distracted, and maybe a telephone call or loses internet connection or load shedding. These are things that are out of our control. And if any of those things happen, 90% of, or whatever stage your controller is, their work is now lost. And that means it takes up more time. There's no auto saving on CargoWise. So how do you recover from that to make that decision if your data is being lost or not captured in time and stuff in that aspect? So for me, I would say it only makes sense to automate that data process in order for me to have more time and added value to be spent on the remaining 3 tiers of business. Today, when we talk about what are the type of automations that can be done in our industry that can speed up and accelerate our processes, we look at Gartner, who he talks about robotic automation, AI technology, and how digitalization in the logistics industry is so important. So for me, I want to know why robotic automation. How exactly does robotics and automation speed up their processes and increase the flexibility of a company's operations to become more resilient? Vikram.
All right. So basically, robotic automation is one way of automating, and I guess today with data entry, what we've seen is that it could be the most easily adopted in a business considering different circumstances. Just to give an example, again, the alternative to a robotic automation could be maybe a direct integration with a customer's supplier or a vendor. But what tends to then happen is time consumption of the IT team to do this across for many different projects. And with robotic automation, we also have robot process automation, which is RPA. And in that line, you really don't need to take time off your IT team to deploy something that can push data to CargoWise. So again, I would say RPA is in that way quite superior to an integration, just from a pure point of saving time on technicalities. Mandeep, anything to add on that?
No, I think I agree. RPAs are fast way of deploying, and I know certain they have certain disadvantages, but what we have figured out is the right way to approach any type of integration is to enable the use case with RPA rapidly, and then if required, and if there are certain requirements that cannot be met with RPA, we can basically integrate in parallel using API. So that gives you both head start as well as possibility of migrating to the API integration down the line as the process matures.
Okay, great. So you say that Ikram said that is a direct integration. We know IT, so we don't have to rely on our IT team to have time constraints and have more more tasks available to our employees. So that's actually a great way to accelerate that process in a logistic company. And I know in SFL we do use RPA with our BPO services, and that's a great advantage for our clients, is because that updates their buy rates. They have, they can update their salary, update their buy rates. They have more time on their hands. Those are the things that they don't have to concentrate on, but they have their data available to make any decision or to give their clients what they need. Should it be available? I mean, should it be required? The next question I have is, as a WiseTech Platinum Service Partner, Ikram, this is for you. Majority of your clients are freight forwarders and other logistic companies who use CargoWise. But what were some of the pain points your clients experienced during the pandemic, and how do you feel that SFL assisted with this?
All right, so I think the pandemic now has been over 2 years.
Yes.
We can break it down to just the relevant portion, which I would say is the last 9 months today. Things changed so fast. So in the last 9 months, some of the things we've seen the teams having to manage is capacity of deploying technology. So there is a rush to digitize. And again, that's where I conveyed a little while back that the constraints on the IT team to really spend time on each and every development on the tech side. So an RPA was an example of how you can do things and automate even without the support of a tech team. But that's something which we've seen. Basically, if you can deploy an automation without too many technical resources being needed, we felt that it's looked at and preferred too. So a lot of the solutions today which is being built in the market are like plug and play options, and that's what customers would like to have. So coming back to your question, Wendy, related to other pain points, so technical resources in the team is one pain point. The second one is the adoption of change from an operator's point of view. So what also is happening today is with the rush of digitizing, there is high expectations of a person who's an operations person, as an example, having to dedicate time towards his customer, internal processes, and then changes in those internal processes by bringing in new technology. So that's the second point, is the speed of a person being able to change from one technology to the other, or adapting something new to his day-to-day work. So that's the other pain point, is how do we have that change management taking place without confusing the staff or the operator, and even without overburdening him, so that he does still have free time for himself and doesn't work more than his stipulated hours. One thing which was obvious is that, again, maybe this has improved, but when the pandemic started 2 years back, everybody was working more than 8 hours a day. I think in the last 9 months, they've come back towards some sort of normality of working hours. But still, we don't want to burden the operator with doing things which will creep into his personal time. So making sure mental health, they have time to learn new skills. These things are given to the staff or the operator is important from a leadership point of view to make sure that there is a good culture inside the office. So that pain point as well needs to be addressed, which is how much change can the team take. So yeah, technical resources, time, your operators' time to adopt change. These, I would say, are the two main things related to the people and inside the business. Then coming towards external challenges, because of the pandemic, rate fluctuations have been very drastic. So we saw a big peak in freight rates that directly impacted the end customer. But again, from our customers' point of view, I think high freight rates is not an issue if you have space as well. But hand in hand, there is also a limitation of space, which was another pain point. So how they address those scenarios was something which they had to battle. The other one is beyond rates, you had port congestions as well. So there was a bottleneck of at ports, predominantly again in the US area, which again a lot of goods move into, and a lot of clients we work with are facing. So port congestions and delivery trucks, again because of custom regulations also changing in the middle, right? Again, the example being Brexit and the new regulations there, the new HTS codes which have been released. So from a customs point of view as well and regulation, there have been a lot of changes. So that being industry pain points which our clients had to experience. So all of these accumulated together had making priority and prioritizing your digital adoption and technology you want to introduce to the business was important. And what we saw as SFL was that clients would want to execute these simultaneously, but again, a partner like SFL was able to help them just plan it out and decide on what should be their priorities based on the management's vision of the company.
Yeah, and I know you did say businesses have been affected by port congestion and temporary closure of ports, all directly related to COVID-19. But as you said, COVID has been here with us for 2 years, and we see the after effects of it that's going to be happening in the port congestion. And reports say that it's going to take at least 12 months for us, for the logistics supply chain to recover from that. And so, especially with like as you said, change management is one of the hardest things that you have to try to do in your business when trying to implement stuff. Implement a digitization because everybody's so used to the manual processes and what they know, and now trying to start something new in a pandemic is already exhausting enough for a client or an employee or ops person. And I think bringing out, showing them the capacity to have a better lifestyle by reducing that work actually makes such a big difference. What are some of the other automations that have currently been in the market, Mandeep, that you have felt that has helped us in our daily lives and has given us a better outlook there?
Yeah, so there are a lot of examples. Even in your own home, you might have a intelligent vacuum cleaner that can vacuum your home without you spending manually time to actually vacuum manually. And obviously this increases the amount of time that you have free for your family and other activities. And similar things are happening in the industries as well. We see automated trucks that are taking cargo, running on interstates. A lot of these things are just the beginning right now, but ultimately automation helps humans save time on mundane tasks which could be done by computers now effectively, and then humans spend time on part of the business which are more complicated and more sophisticated, and where there is a human intelligence is needed, because however intelligent computers are, they are still not very strategic, or they are not very, uh, they haven't reached to the point where they could compete with, sophisticated business making decisions and things like that. So by automating these mundane tasks, businesses can, retarget those resources into human-centric work, which will give them, in my opinion, ultimately better outcome for their businesses. And just to give you an example of such task is, uh, for example, the Cargodoc, like Ikram mentioned earlier, can automate data entry work, and there is a lot of data entry still going on, manual data entry. Other things could be, for example, sending certain emails in an automated fashion when something, uh, something, some trigger happens. Um, so, so yeah, all of these things are available, and like uh, like Ikram said, the fastest, what for a business would be lucrative is to kind of choose automations that are does not, in the beginning at least, that does not need huge amount of upfront investment and can deliver results, uh, as soon as they deployed. So that's why a lot of automations we are working in Cargodoc are having a hard ROI, which means that you could calculate how much you're going to save as soon as the system is operational in your system, in your company.
Yes, and something that caught my ear from what you said was you want something that obviously is like a ready-to-use system automation for clients that change, that there's no actual training done or anything, that it's just designed the way you want it, and it does just the one task but it's the one big task that's needed in a logistics company. So what you are trying to say, Mandeep, is that if somebody gets Cargodoc, they don't actually need to have any training based on it or anything. They can literally just tell you this is what they want, and you can map everything according to their needs, and Cargodoc will do it for them. So the ops person doesn't have to concentrate on whether they know that system or not. Is that true?
Right. So we have a service where basically they forward their emails with documents, whether it's a shipping instructions or accounts payable invoices or commercial invoices, and our servers downloads those documents, extract the information using computer vision AI, and then they could be inserted into the CargoWise, either via API that we already have, or via robotic process automation, if that is desired, because robotic process automation always saves the integration time. Uh, so I think, I think that saves a lot of time in terms of implementing such a solution.
Yeah, and Wendy, just to jump
So
into
like
it as well, and just add a little bit into what Mandeep said, the other way we are seeing it as well is even offshoring it to a back office. So, you have softwares today which you can use, or you can have a provider using the software on your behalf. So you give them credentials and rights, and the back office in turn does that data entry through the software for you. So again, we've seen that as well being adopted and easily being scalable through the Cargodoc solution with the SFL back office, which again has helped clients adapt and free their resources time.
Great. When I looked at the report from Brian Solis from CIO, what he wrote was, what was overwhelming and unexpectedly clear was COVID-19 pushed legacy processes and BPOs well beyond peak capacity. And you are saying, Ikram, that although SFL offers that back office and that BPO service, but it's because of the use of our RPA that we can ensure that we can reduce the inefficiencies. on the data exchange between in our systems, and reduce the inaccuracy and reduce all of that. So that's what our BPO services in SFR is for. So our clients don't have to pay for any licensing or pay for any updates or anything of that sort. Is
right.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Basically, they have a software like CargoWise. They directly deal with CargoWise, and then our team in the back office, as an example, just uses the details and enters it in. Similar with Cargodoc, they license it out. So there would be a small license fee and a processing fee, because there would be a charge associated with the software, and our resources then, which are trained already, would use it to give you the data in, like you said, in an accurate fashion, and take that ownership. So it's basically a little bit of a bundled kind of an offering, So I think, or a concept to look at.
Yes. Well, the way you explain it, the way Ikram and Mandeep, the way you explain it, it looks like Cargodoc or RPA is some type of virtual assistant. If you get a cell phone, you just, you manage to use it. It's pretty much all the same or similar, but we do have smartphones that have different features. So when you talk about RPA and Cargodoc and stuff, do you consider that maybe one of a virtual assistant like Cortana, Google Assistant, Alexa, is there something now that we can say is something that we can
I think so. I think from a digital virtual assistant point, I think those apps which you just mentioned, are things that would give you information in return. Here, you need information processed. So there would be a slight change in the way the virtual assistant's output would be. But here again, very much, I would say, similar to Cortana and Alexa is what the virtual assistants on a data processing can do, is combine software with a human who's trained already in that process and is dedicated to using that system, and let them give you that extra time so that you don't need to learn on the software, you don't need to learn on the intricacies of it. If there are limitations with the software, the virtual assistant would spend time to resolve it with the vendor and give the output at the end of the day. So sorry Mandeep, but I think I jumped into what you want to cover.
No, it's fine. No, I mean, I agree. So virtual assistants are great. I mean, they have been saving time typing. Just the speech recognition helps you, save time in typing the question, and they can also give you more relevant answers. So I think the Cargodoc system uses more not only understanding of the English, not only English but any language, how the information is written in the document, and but it also uses the visual part of the information, like where the margins are within a document and things like that. So it's a virtual assistant, but it has slightly different capabilities. Instead of looking at it, decoding a speech and converting it to text and then figuring out the answer like Cortana or Siri, it actually looks at a document, understands the document from the text that is written in there, and then it makes sense of where the information lies without necessarily relying on fixed templates. So they are similar, but they use different capabilities underneath.
I mean, I guess all the virtual assistants out there are very similar, but they are distinct in certain ways, because they have just a distinct feature. Each one has a distinct feature that is different from the rest. So same with Cargodoc. I mean, there are so many OCR products now that's currently in the market. And when you look at it as a virtual assistant, it's the same. There's so many virtual assistants out there, but it's not made for everyone. And so why would you think, Mandeep, that Cargodoc is different? And I mean, what stands out for Cargodoc that compared to all the other OCR systems that's out there?
I think the Cargodoc is just the technology behind it. We have shown that works very reliably on highly complex documents. For example, commercial invoices are very are considered probably one of the most complex documents in logistics, especially when you have to extract information from unstructured tables. The values overflowing to the different cells. There might not be any lines in the table. You might have a mixed language in it. So there are so many variations, and number of vendors for commercial invoices would be very large. So all these things makes it technologically very challenging to extract the information, and we have done that reliably with multiple customers. So uh, and we believe that right now Cargodoc uh, is the is the most superior from a technology standpoint system uh, to look at documents and extract information.
Vikram, you have anything else to add to that?
No, I think the only probably thing to add is that with our own experience on CargoWise, being a service partner, I think we're one of the few or the only OCR provider there with a joint venture we've done with Deep Cognition to offer this with our depth of knowledge of how CargoWise works, being a service partner for 5 years. So again, I would say that differentiates us and the Cargodoc solution. It's a collaboration product where AI and CargoWise have been two experts in both sides getting together and giving the solution to the market. So again, when it comes to the industry and the pain points or the lack of adoption in some of these good technologies, it's possibly down to the lack of domain knowledge around customs, as an example, even towards the understanding of how the industry works. And I think we bridge that gap in the market as well. So that when a client does take on Cargodoc as a solution, we provide them the solution based on things that are in the industry rather than what's from another one and then copied over to this industry, because logistics is unique. It's quite diversified, and we just factor all of those in for a successful product and utilization.
Okay, great. So Cargodoc works mainly for only for your CargoWise clients. So that would mean that Deep Cognition and SFL has put in all the development hours regarding that. The clients do not have to spend as much time working with the developers to try to get it right, because you're already known. You have the domain experience, you have the industry experience, you have the technology experience. So that actually is going to take up now your client's time from spending with you guys to get what they need, because you already know. I think that's one of the amazing things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if we get a client that's interested in this product and wants to try it out for about a week or so before committing to it, is this now a possibility?
Yes, it is a possibility. We are running a promotion right now to have people gain experience about this and try it out. So there would be a few consulting hours from a consulting point of view of CargoWise to make sure that they are configured correctly in CargoWise for the solution to work. So I would say that it's a negligible fee for the kind of output and the ROI which it can generate. Again, the analysis and the numbers can be run through our website. We've got an ROI calculator for it, where the client can make its decision. But yeah, it's ready to go and trial out. Yeah.
Okay, so if we have anyone available needs to try this out, do they just log onto the website and schedule a meeting, or?
Yes, we've got cargodoc.ai is the website, and you have a place to log in an inquiry, and then a representative will get in touch with you and guide you through the steps, or there is a login section where you can directly sign up, put in your document which you want us to assist in processing, and then a technical person again connects with you to just make sure that they've got the support from a CargoWise credential point of view to get it working together with Cargodoc. So it's as easy as that, and it's right on our website, cargodoc.ai.
Cool. Okay, that's great. So as we listen to Vikram and Mandeep now, who has given you the automation solutions that are easy, compatible with your CargoWise system, and they have put in all the work and effort and has all the experience required to get this going as soon as possible, meaning that you don't have to spend months trying to get a system that works for you. Using affordable but effective solutions to automate data entry for your business may seem like small automations, but it is actually what drives the business. Because when you look at it, no data equals no customers equals no goods, and no goods equals no profits. So automation, as we said before, automation is not replacing the human workforce, but rather strengthening it and taking out the workload and assisting people to make better strategic decisions. Yes, Cargodoc does not make the decision for the business, but it assists in the process of getting there. And you're getting accurate data, analytical data to make those decisions. Thanks, Vikram and Mandeep.
Thank you, Wendy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining, and we leave the floor open for any questions to Mandeep and Vikram or anything you require. We leave this space open for maybe the next 10 minutes for any inquiries to come through. Please send us a message or just put your mic on.
Till the questions come in, just something like I can see on the guest list, we've got Martin. Hi, Martin. I like to call you out on our webinars, knowing you well. How are you?
I was just trying to unmute myself. Vikram, hi, very, very nice to see you again. It's been a while, eh?
Yeah, it has. It has.
Nice to see some old friends and faces, eh? I'm sorry I missed the first few minutes of the webinar, but certainly caught the last bit of it, and I'll get the recording from Wendy because it's certainly some interesting stuff. Eh?
Right, Martin. Yeah, no, like you said as well, it's always good to see you and catch up. And I call you out on these webinars because I think you're a good critical, positive way, critical person on technology and how it should get adopted. I think. You champion technology, but I've understood the constraints. So I think the Cargodoc solution as well was something we tried to build together for some time prior to it actually going as Cargodoc on the AP invoices. So any specific pain points you feel the technology is slow in adapting with, or is it to do with the users and the operators really just figuring it out and getting in place? Where do you see it, Martin?
I think it's all about the dollars. Eh? I think, and certainly looking at the market in South Africa, and funny enough, having been in the market lately, just chatting to customers that are on CargoWise, there still seems to be an element of resistance to investing in CargoWise, and I think it's always been one of the gripe points that I talk about a lot. The reality is as you know, we heavily invested in CargoWise and we're investing a lot. We've built a lot of tools. We certainly believe in the journey and we're very committed to it. And I think the message that I keep reiterating to the senior management is the investments do give you a return. I think many people battle to I think that they battle to quantify the ROI, and I know with something like a Cargodoc, it's probably a lot easier to quantify it, but there's no doubt that the returns are there, and anyone that wants to invest or anyone that's committed to the journey of CargoWise, you need to be investing. And tools like Cargodocs is almost like a foundation tool, you know. It really is. It gives you, within a reasonable period of time, it'll give you a decent return, it'll give you scale, it'll give you the elements of automation that you want in a business. It's going to take you forward. So all these sort of initiatives, I think, are absolutely amazing, and the more that the market gets exposed to these opportunities, the better it is for CargoWise and for the CargoWise users and the companies using them. I really think that the next couple of years, with the disruption going on in the market with the carriers, the freight forwarders, and we've been chatting about it internally just with the management. You know, every company needs to be putting itself in a position where they're flexible. In other words, they have agility, and they have scale, and they've got the ability to make quick decisions. Because whatever happens in the markets, for all of us, whether you're a consolidator, whether you're a carrier, whether you're a freight forwarder, there's disruption coming. You know, we've had 2 years of quite pressurized working environments and certainly challenges. We've been fortunate. We've had great volume growth, and CargoWise has enabled us to have scale. Partly because we've been investing in it, and we've been focusing around the basics of CargoWise and workflows and streamlining our processes. So, yeah, when I look at something like Cargodocs, it's just these tools are great, and people need to be adopting them. You know, and it's not about, and I'm quite firmly against. It's not about chopping numbers or chopping your staff. It's about freeing up your staff's time to be better at what they should be. You know, dealing with customers. Being professional, customer service, adding value to your business, not data capturing a keyboard, you know. So yeah, right. These are my few cents worth, Vikram.
No, always valuable ones. So that's why I thought I'll say hi to you and get your thoughts into this space, because like you said, I think everybody sees a need. It's just sometimes maybe priority of investment, priority of your time, and then again channeling that down the line, right? So from top down, driving such initiatives is important, and then prioritizing them. So
it definitely takes quite a big commitment from the management side. And you know, Mandeep, I heard you saying that you offer a trial solution. It's all very well doing the trial, but the management have got to be committed to it. You know, the people, the users, they've got to buy into it. You know, there's no point, excuse me, having all the bells and whistles and you don't have that internal commitment. But if the commitment's there and the product delivers, yes, the returns are easy to see. You know, they are. And that's what I think. This is great about these sort of tools. You know, you see the wins really quickly, and you see the benefits quickly.
Yeah, right. The other gentleman I'd just like to call is, I see him on the guest list as well, Francisco. If you're there, hi, my friend. How are you? I hope he's still online with us. I see him on the guest list.
Maybe he can't unmute himself. I couldn't. I don't think Wins unmuted me.
Oh, okay. Let me try.
See if he can unmute himself.
Yeah, maybe we bored him. No problem. I see Francisco. So Francisco is another CargoWise service partner. Optimize, we partner with him in Italy, Spain, where there is language requirements. So again, I guess adopting technology, making it as localized as possible, which is familiar, helps that adoption also. So I just wanted to check with him on a few of those cultural barriers, which also take place when you deploy technology. And if the vendor is from another part of the world and you're from another part of the world, people still feel that gap could really, or see that gap as the stumbling block or the point of where things don't move forward. So language and freight forwarders, I feel also, having been one for the last 12 years prior to this, always feel their industry is unique in their own country. So a localized solution is something, and something general and generic sometimes doesn't get adopted. So just to address those on the Italian market, the Spanish market, the tax regulations are all of a challenge. Yeah, so maybe the same with you, Martin, and in South Africa. Do you feel these things?
I don't know. Let me ask you a question, Vikram, because you're a bit of a global guy. You see, I'm a bit of a localized person. What I'd like to understand. So there's an obvious continuum where you look and say, first world places like Europe, cost of labor is very high, automation, all these sort of tools should be early adopted. They should adopt it really quickly, and there should be a big drive towards it. The third world countries, labor costs are low. Places like South Africa, India, South America, you should have the adoption rate should be a lot lower. So I know from my experience, I don't think South Africa quite falls into that. I think we've got quite a lot of decent people wanting to adopt it. From a global point of view, Vikram, I mean, is that synopsis true, as I've stated it, or are you finding the third world countries are adopting these tools as quick as first world countries? Or is it predominantly the space of the first world countries?
Yeah, my reading of it is about people's priority list. What is their priority on adoption? I guess what's happening in developing countries is bringing in sales is their priority rather than saving cost. I know that's a normal thing in the West as well, but for the West, that cost saving is much more considerable in terms of when you do save it, the ones and zeros on the bottom line bring in a bit better impact. So that is one of the areas on the priority side. So that makes a difference of making a decision on an automation. So if I had two things to invest in, one is an automation that saves cost of time of my operator, another one that can help to bring new business, I'll always incline towards going towards new business first. And again, it depends on the decision maker as well. If he's a finance person, he would see cost. If it's a salesperson on the top, we all come with that baggage sometimes, right? We are more sales oriented or more finance oriented. So that again influences the decision of which technology to choose. But particularly on data entry saving and time saving, we've seen it slow because people want to firstly as well get a high ROI on their investment on CargoWise itself, because today in a lot of companies that would be the highest spending application, and they would like to see that bringing in the ROI. So a lot of them probably don't have the matrices to measure that ROI. So investing even more on another technology might be something they're skeptical about. So if you have those KPIs of measuring your own CargoWise return first, makes things easier for saving time through Cargodoc as a second investment. But if you never had those KPIs and you always say it's expensive, you're never going to adopt new technologies as well. So in the end, you end up having a very expensive device without using all the functionality. And what's expensive is, for one person expensive, is another person it's cheap. So it's how much you use of that application or software. Even I like to give the example of a mobile. You get mobile phones which are $300-400. You get mobile phones which are $2,000. They do the same thing, but why does someone buy something other than it being fashionable or trendy? It's actually going to give the business better results if you look at the features and utilize them if you're going to spend more money. So I would say CargoWise falls in the premium category of applications because it has so much of functionality, and WiseTech tries to champion those functionalities as your USPs. Use them because if you have two systems and two of your competitors and your competitor is also on CargoWise, it's who's using it better that's going to get ahead of the market. Right, and get the next customer. So yeah, it's an investment, like you said as well, Martin, where once you have decided, the return of investment takes time as well, right? So like you said, you've invested in CargoWise for over 5-7 years now, and you're seeing the investment. Maybe you were more patient than everybody else, and you're seeing it now, which is most important is how you're performing on the day, right? Not how much you might perform too much in the future or in the past, because those things are irrelevant at that day, So today you're in a happy position, in a good position with good cargo, and yeah, things can change for the better or for the worse, but at least you're giving your best chance at it. So that's where we are seeing getting those thought processes in order, and deciding, making those decisions, sometimes having a consultant to run those ideas through and just brainstorm. gives clarity. So yeah, I think again these webinars is to try and brainstorm to give clarity rather than actually sell any product or anything. It's just a good brainstorm session, and then take back and really see what's your priority list. So I think when we decided to do this was to try and give that option. So we're trying to do once a month to be able to give back to the industry what we are seeing, and then let them decide what's best for them. So I don't know if I answered too much of your thing, but I've just tried to be a bit holistic in what we're seeing here.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think these forums are really great. It's nice to hear from other parts of the world, other people's experiences. I mean, we all here to learn. I mean, the only way you get better is you learn and innovate. There's an interesting thing going on in Europe at the moment where they've got a serious shortage of operators. Freight operators. So, be it controllers and places like Germany, the salaries are just jumping 20-30% in a non-inflationary environment. Those are significant cost increases, and it's becoming almost prohibitive. The model's starting to struggle. I mean, obviously, originally it always was a very high cost base. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on in other parts of the world. Their challenges are very much, and they talk directly to the need for automation. They talk directly to the need for a back office scale. All those great things that Cargodoc can do and has the ability to do. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone here from Europe, is there? But it certainly would be nice to hear just their experiences. I've had a few sort of second-hand versions of what's going on, but yeah, they've got some real challenges going on there. And I think, Cargodoc, it's not you just don't turn the tap on. It doesn't work like that. It's a journey. You've got to appreciate there's time behind it, and you've almost got to start it long before you need it. And then by getting it all corrected in place, and we've done loads of work with SFL. So having SFL as a team to work with you and nurture you through the process gets you there. But it's not a light switch you flick on and everything works. You've got to start the journey. You need a good business partner, and you walk the road. And then the results are there later on.
Exactly, Martin. Yeah. Francisco, if he's hearing us, he's in Europe, so if he unmutes. But otherwise, I think the same thing's happening in the US in terms of they're calling it the Great Resignation. So maybe Mandeep would be able to also just share a little bit of what he's seeing in the US with the labor market and adopting technology. Maybe that would give you something similar to what's happening in Europe, Martin, if it's the same thing. So yeah, Mandeep.
Yeah, I have been reading about a lot of people got a lot of time to think about what they're doing in their life, and that kind of lead them resigning, not necessarily resigning and not doing anything, but to kind of change their what they are doing right now. But it caused quite a bit of disruption in the labor market. So yeah, I mean, the pandemic has some unexpected it started some unexpected processes or things in people's life, and ultimately it affects businesses and everything, because everything is run by people, right? When people change their thinking, almost anything will change, be it businesses or politics or whatnot.
Yeah, right. Certainly a disruptive time that we live in, though, there's no doubt, on many fronts. I mean, the labour front's one of it, all the staff complement. But yeah, the industry's in huge disruption, So
yeah,
interesting times.
True.
Yeah, it's very interesting time weather-wise as well. We are having snow in Texas, like 1 inch snow outside. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
you're in summer, aren't you?
Huh?
Were you summer or winter in Texas? I thought you were summer.
I mean, it's still kind of winter, but it's late winter.
Okay.
Never get snow at this time. I mean, Texas usually don't get snow. Having snow in February and like a 1 inch snow, it's crazy. I guess it's not only the people, but the weather too is changing.
Mandeep, how long have you been in Texas?
About 20 years.
Have you got one of those Stetsons?
What?
A Stetson. Those hats that the Texans wear.
Oh,
Yes.
that's I'm for it. I don't wear it usually.
All right. So, Martin, thank you very much for joining the webinar as well. And it's nice to have a chat with you. Since there were no questions coming in, I thought I'll try and make it a bit interactive. And thanks again for volunteering
lovely
to
to chat,
speak
Vikram.
and your
Always good.
contributions. Yeah.
And I've
Likewise.
been owing Wendy a phone call. So nice to see you, Wendy. And sorry I haven't phoned you.
Yes, I think she's frozen on camera here. So yeah, she was saying that there might be load sharing. So she was a bit apprehensive that the webinar might end. So I don't know if it has hit.
Yeah, it's every kind of suburb gets hit at a different time. One of the joys of South Africa, we have an energy crisis here, amongst other things. So, yeah.
All right. Fantastic. All right, Martin, thanks again for your time and thanks for joining, and everyone as well. Thanks for joining the webinar today. I want to conclude the meeting because I think Wendy's got disconnected because of load sharing, and hope to see you all again on the next one. Take care and have a nice day.
Thank you so much. Cheerio. Bye-bye.